Before watching this video, please know that spoilers on Shadowbringers and Endwalker will be included in this. If you do not wish to be spoiled, then I'd advise clicking off the video now while you still have the time. Otherwise, enjoy. So, who's the character widely known in the Final Fantasy community as Emet-Selch? Well, Emet-Selch, or Hades as his true name would be, is one of the main antagonists of Final Fantasy XIV. He's the main antagonist of the Shadowbringers expansion, being one of the Unsullied Ascians and a member of the Convocation of 14. Emet-Selch played a major role in bringing forth the Rejoining in order to restore the star to its unsundered state, allowing for the return of Zodiark. Through the writing of his story and how he acts as a character, Emet-Selch has been a well-loved and established character in the XIV community, being regarded as one of, or even the best antagonist throughout the whole series thus far. A much-loved villain with a tragic backstory, players of the game soon find out more about him and his life in the later expansions known as Endwalker. Going into more details as to why he did what he did, being a man who has lost everything he held dear, and that is willing to sacrifice everything to bring it all back. In the ancient times, before the player's character would even be established, Emet-Selch was born special, as he had a gift of soul sight. Once known as Hades, his gift put him on the seat of Emet-Selch in the Convocation of 14, a position which was rejected by his close friend Hythlodaeus, who also had soul sight. The Convocation worked as Aetherius' government. Emet-Selch was the keeper of the ethereal realm, due to soul sight having a strong connection to ether. With Hythlodaeus and Asm, he met Hermes to find a new Fandaniel for the Convocation. During that time, he actually met the Warrior of Light for the first time. The Warrior of Light time traveled, and this was revealed by Venat, who could sense her protection spell on them. Emet-Selch found out the cause of the final days with the Warrior of Light, Hermes, Hythlodaeus, and Venat. It was Meteion, Hermes' experimental creation, that would cause the final days. However, Hermes decided that the final day should happen and erased everyone's memory except for Venat and the Warrior of Light. Without remembering what happened, Emet-Selch put Hermes on the Convocation of 14. When the final days came, Emet-Selch and the other members of the Convocation decided to summon a primal called Zodiark to save their people. This cost many lives, including the life of Hythlodaeus, who volunteered to be sacrificed. Once summoned, the primal enthralled others to become its followers, including Emet-Selch. They wished to sacrifice even more lives to restore their world. This disturbed people like Venat and Asm. They created an opposing group that summoned a primal named Hydaelyn. Hydaelyn ruined all of Emmet's plans. She shattered reality itself and made their world and soul split into the Source and the 13 Shards. The only people whose souls were not split were Emet-Selch, Lahabrea, and Elidibus. To Emet-Selch, this meant all the sacrifice were for nothing. All that he knew and loved was sacrificed and split into souls, where like flawed fragments of what people once were. Emet-Selch, Lahabrea, and Elidibus devised a plan to undo Hydaelyn's shattering to restore their world and Zodiark. Then, called Ascians, they would do all in their power to rejoin the Source and its 13 fragments. To do this, they had to make a rejoining. This meant one of the shards had to be overwhelmed by one element or ether, such as fire, light, or water. The Source would then have to experience a major event aspected to the kind of ether. Successfully doing this would cause a rejoining, which they planned to do for as many shards as possible until the world and Zodiark was restored. Much later, after these events had transpired, we got to learn about Emet-Selch as an Ascian, and another identity he had taken in order to enact his plan, Solus Zos Galvus. The known founder of the Garlean Empire was a real man known for his military prowess. Emet-Selch took over his body and controlled it for the rest of Solus's life. As Solus, Emet-Selch guided the development of the Garlean Empire, their army, and weapons. He encouraged their culture's xenophobia and made sure they devastated the Source with various wars and battles. This was all so rejoinings could occur for Zodiark in the form of calamities. Emet-Selch also took some fragmented souls of the Convocation members under his wing. One example of this is Amon, who is a fragment of Fan Daniel, in addition to their influence on the Guardian Empire. Emet-Selch and the rest of the Ascians also taught the Beast Tribes how to summon their own gods. After successfully causing a calamity in which Dalamed fell, Emet-Selch let Solus's body die of old age. Emet-Selch's next body was a Solus clone, which was made of Varys Zos Galvus, during a civil war in Garlemald. Varys learned the truth about Emet-Selch, but was powerless to stop him, as killing him made just him take over a different clone body. With the clone body, he went to the first shard to watch over the Warrior of Light and Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Eventually, he joined them in hopes of getting them on the side of the Ascians. Emet-Selch hoped that spending time with the Warrior of Light would get them to remember their former selves before their shattering, but it did not. After he explained everything to the Scions, he was also disappointed to find their resolve still had not changed. They fought, and the Warrior of Light defeated Emet-Selch. He resigned himself to death, telling the Scions to not forget that the Ancients once lived. However, that is not the last time Emet-Selch is seen. A shade of him appears in the fight against Elidibus to help the Warrior of Light, and he returned at the end of Endwalker, with all his memories back. He admits he was wrong and commends the Warrior of Light. After helping the Warrior of Light revive their friends, Emet-Selch fades back into ether. In his final moments, he tells the Warrior of Light to fully explore the source and reflections. Moving on from all that, when it comes down to it, as a character and a personality in the game, I feel Emet-Selch is written amazingly. His sarcastic, snarky character and how he acts and mocks others for making mistakes that he has seen others make countless times, while keeping himself mysterious, constantly making me want to learn more about him and why he does what he does. The times when he helps you out, which just seem counterproductive towards his goals, but have hidden layers that you only find out later on. As an antagonist, as a character, he is truly written so well. Coming to the end of his life, you finally get to learn about why he has done all he did, and it gives you an understanding. All he wanted was to get back the people he lost and loved. I may not agree with his methods, the countless lives lost for his goal, but I can understand and sympathize with his desire to get back to the life that was taken from him. Emet-Selch will always stand at the peak of gaming antagonists for me, someone whose humor is well received and enjoyable throughout the story, building upon itself and revealing more little by little, while also helping your character develop as well, laying itself towards my favorite expansion in all the game. Finishing itself with an amazing fight where we finally get to go head to head. Emet-Selch has provided me with hours of enjoyment. Being able to see all the fan-made art or videos about him, seeing others' perspectives and what they make also is fun. Building on him as a character within the community. He has cemented himself as the one character I enjoy the most in all of gaming, beating nostalgia and more. I thank all the writers of Square Enix for coming up with such an amazing and game-changing character. Now, after all this, I hope you have got an understanding on Emet-Selch as a character, seen most all he has done, as well as gotten a small insight on how the community feels about him. Maybe this will pique your own interest to find out other details yourself, experience the story through your own character, and enjoy your own experiences of Emet-Selch. There is so much to be offered all through the story, many enjoyable characters to meet, fight, and befriend. If any of that interests you, then I hope you jump into the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV. You can play for free up till the Stormblood expansion reaching level 70, just shy of my favorite expansion of Shadowbringers. Thank you, and good luck out there, Warrior of Light.